And continuing from the last video, yeah, I was agnostic, and all this was a little deep for me and heavy for me. But I was always agnostic, but I always believed if there was a God, I'm going to. If I ever find out there's a God, I will definitely worship Him, 100%. But until now, I never really had a reason to really focus if there was or not. But now it's like I'm finding some ancestry hints to my bloodline that's like really heavily into Christianity, Catholicism, worship God, and this it just hardens my belief. And at this point, I kind of moved past the religion. I kind of believe that all religions have some truth in them, but there's so many different religions, different times of these religions, and isolated religions that did not connect to everyone, yet everyone has some underlying truth of similarity. So now I'm moving past the religion. I believe it. It taught me a lot of things when it comes to morality and truth and justice, and Jesus is such a amazing individual, and he spoke his truth, and he truly did not just allow that negativity to overcome him. Even in the face of true terror, he chose to continue his light, and that's absolutely amazing. And so his story really spoke to me. It spoke to me really strongly. Okay. Now, at this time, I don't really know what's going on. I'm getting a little bit scared, I'm starting to see things like butterflies and crows and, and I'm starting to see like semi-synchronicities. And I was reading about this, that you start to see these things when the universe is speaking to you. I didn't know what that meant, but that's what you start to see. It's like circumstances, situations, and outcomes is how God speaks to you. That's what I say. And now I'm kind of moving away. Nothing weird is happening so far, but now I move away from that, and I want to get more spiritually. I want to get more spiritually. So I started moving away from just my own research, and I start to want to. I pray, and I tell God, in a sense, I'm like, I'm kind of sick of reading. Like, I'm cool at reading, but I wish there was another way to understand these things, like a TV show. That's what I said. And all of a sudden, all these TV shows started to appear to me about God. All these shows, like Manifest, The Leftovers, even House. I started to gain these understandings and about God and faith. And I watched a movie about trying to prove God, like Jesus didn't, like investigative journalist is trying to prove God wrong, or prove that Jesus never rose from the dead, and he couldn't, and he became a believer by trying to disprove it. And a very good quote is this from the movie, that even if you believe or not believe, both takes a leap of faith. Because if you do believe, you have to believe something that everything physical is kind of telling you don't. But if you choose not to believe, you have to ignore everything the spiritual is trying to tell you, because you're focusing so much on the physical. So it's a leap of faith either way. And it's really interesting. And then another one is like an interview with God. And that really showed me that God will speak to you in a way that only that you understand, and no one else will be able to enter that reality of how God speaks to you, even if it's right next to them, because they cannot see what God reveals to you. It's only what God is revealing to you. So I started to watch all these shows and gain insights on like God and our ignorance and things like that. And I started to get deeper in my research, and I started reading like more like hidden Bible stories, like the Judas story, that it's like the Gospel of Judas, and Judas says something like Jesus revealed the truth to him and told him that he had to betray him, and it was part of his destiny. And I read the Apocryphy of John, where it tells you about these celestial bodies and how we have to know about the spirituality in our death and to escape the gates or the chains holding you back, and all these things talking about that there was a hidden realm of divinity, and all souls really connect to it, but our physical bodies trap that essence and stuff like that. So I started to really dig deep into these kind of things, but I didn't really know what to believe. Gnosticism, I started to really research that, and they talk about Acrons and the demiurge and these other creators, that God has other beings that create and do other things for him, like kind of like angels. But it was really weird at the time, because it was really hard to navigate through all these belief systems. Like, there were so many belief systems, I really didn't know what to believe. And I connected to some other spiritual people, and I thought, spiritual people should be nice and kind and understanding and open-minded, like I am. And I connected to some of these people, and they were really disturbed individuals. There were people that were lost, people that didn't really understand what was going on that way in darkness. And I started to understand that not everyone who opens the path of spiritualism is going to open it in a positive path or in an understanding path. Some people will get lost in this. And I started to go to church because I wanted to be around positive and supportive individuals. So I started to go to a church. I didn't really know which one to go to, but Mormonism popped up, like an ad to join a Mormon church, and I took that as a sign from God. So I joined the Mormon church. I scheduled to go meet some missionaries at a park, and when I went there, there was a doves. There was white and brown doves there, and that I took that as another sign from God to really be there. I met them, and eventually I came to the church, and it was really positive, and I loved the energy there and the faith in everyone. But one issue I would say is that, it's no issue, I have no judgment, but a lot of people I talked there say they grew up in the faith. And it's just interesting that they grew up in the faith, and they didn't really have to experience not having God and then coming to God. But that really helped me. That was helping me understand things. I was like posting videos of my entire experience on social media, but it was pretty tough. And moving from all this, I started to gain some aspect, as this is what I kind of, from church and listening to other people who are so-called spiritualists and people's mindsets. And I started to really think that, not that I know everything, but that most people talk as if they know and don't. And it's as if they found the truth, and then as soon as they found it, they no longer search for more. And the truth comes in so many ways. Like, even Scientology has the divine truth within it, but because it's masqueraded in so many different variations of like this alien and things of that nature, it becomes really hard to understand and integrate to other people. Now, so I started to kind of see too many truths, too many paths to God, and I needed to focus on what I believe, and so I wanted to start reading spiritual instead of reading religion, because I felt like I got a lot of understandings of religion, of the truth of Jesus, of divinity, that I wanted to gain more of a spiritual knowledge. The Bible is great, but it really talks in lessons, and I kind of want direct information. So I remember that there's a spiritual bookstore by my old job, and I tell my roommate to come with me, and we start heading out to the spiritual bookstore. And when I get there, it's very insightful. It has a lot of great. It's called Thunder Books, I think. It's in Santa Monica, and it's amazing, and it has a lot of great spiritual catalog, spiritual books and resources. Okay, on to the next.